Saturday night, usual time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 3rd, 2026. How's it going out there today? A few anniversaries in the last few days. On January 2nd, 1971, All Things Must Pass by George Harrison went to #1 in the United States and stayed #1 for 7 weeks in a row. Uncle Paul, Beatles Pop Playhouse, turned 63 today. Today's his birthday, January 3rd.
Happy birthday, bud.
And who would have been 100 years old today? A little trivia question related to in the Beatles circle. He would have been 100 years old today if he had lived. Who is it? All right. Anybody? Well, you might have seen some of the replays.
George Martin.
Yeah, George Martin.
So that was 505. One guy, I think. But Lil B, of course, said, "Hi, everybody. Hope your birthday was great, Frank."
How you doing, Patricia?
The Quiet Beatles Collector, which is Thomas Crook. Hello, Frank and Travis. Happy belated birthday, Frank.
Thomas Crook. Patricia, Little Beatles Corner, purchased this from me today. A sealed 1978. Would have come out of a BC13, the first 3,000 boxes of Abbey Road. This is a -4, -3 HTM pressing, recut by Harry T. Moss with less bass roll-off, and Tom Port from Better Records swears this is an audiophile pressing on hot stamper on his expensive equipment.
Uncle Paul Beatles Pop Playhouse. Thank you, Frank and Travis. George Martin. Records and Trains. Hi, everybody.
How you doing, Records and Trains?
Polly Hewitt, STICKERMANIA family. Happy belated birthday.
What's the Records and
happy birthday.
What's Record and Trains number?
I can't remember either.
Yeah,
I'm bad.
he's like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah. The Larry said, enjoyed all your holiday shows. Happy New Year.
Larry?
Gabby's in here. Said,
how are you doing, Gabby?
Mona Best would have turned 102. Mona Best.
So today was her anniversary, her birthday. Mona Best.
And then George, Music for All Seasons. Happy New Year and hello to all. And my name is Brennan.
Here's another trivia.
Is Brennan.
Brendan?
Brennan. Brennan.
Okay, Brendan. Here's another trivia question. We're talking about Mona Best. Mona Best, the father of one of her child's, that Mona Best had a son. And who was the father of one of her kids that's related to the Beatles circle?
Gabby said yes, the owner of the Cash Bar Club.
Yeah, Cashback. Cosba. Neil Aspinall, father of one of Mona Best's child. And would that be Rogue Best that operates the Liverpool Beatles Museum? I think so. What else going on? I gave you the top 5 stream songs by the young generation. Got my 1963 photos of the Beatles on my t-shirt. None of the early tracks from the 63 or 64 Beatles songs are in the top 10 streams on Spotify by the Beatles. So here are the top 10, number 10 through 6. Help, that's a 1965 song, is number 10. Something is number 9. 8 is In My Life from Rubber Soul. Blackbird, number 7 from the White Album. Oh, here's a early track. I guess I'm wrong. There's one early track that the Beatles have in the top 10 Spotify streams, but they didn't write the song. What is it? What cover did the Beatles do that's in the top 10 stream songs by the young crowd today? See if anybody knows that one. The Rick Beato had a video where he's interviewing a bluegrass artist, and the bluegrass artist said that I've just seen a face that was on the Help album, and the Rubber Soul here in the United States is straight bluegrass song that the Beatles did. Paul McCartney doing I've Just Seen a Face, influenced by Bill Monroe. So the number 6 song on the top 10 Spotify by the young crowd is Twist and Shout. The Twist and Shout cover that the Beatles did so much better than the original Twist and Shouts by the Isley Brothers and a few other artists.
North Carolina
Arthur?
final pick of evening, Frank and family.
How you doing, Arthur? I saw you got a couple new hype stickers there. That's pretty cool on a couple albums.
And then they were talking about Rogue does operate the museum, I guess.
Liverpool Beatles Museum.
Yeah.
That's on Matthew Street. So on the Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, Chapel Roan, they had a film performance of her doing the subway from Kansas City, and they blocked it where you can't play that on YouTube, but they do play the live version of Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. And it's amazing. It seemed like there's no auto-tune, and it's a straight live track of Rick Springfield doing Jesse's Girl, and he's 76 years old. You can never believe he's 76 years old. But he's been lifting weights his whole life, lives in Malibu. And you know that he owns John Lennon's prototype butcher cover that he paid, I think, $220,000 for. Is that all my notes? So it makes me think that they're blocking the Chapel Roan video of her doing the subway because they're going to come out with a live album of her when she was in Kansas City and LA, Los Angeles, the Rose Bowl, and New York City at Forest Hills Stadium.
I don't know what room somebody said y'all heard that the What Goes On demo got leaked on YouTube.
Yeah, I talked about that.
Yeah, so you talk about that.
Yeah,
so
I think everybody's seen it now. 2 minutes, it's amazing. What Goes On demo, 2 minutes long. And Andrew Milton from Polygram Auctions used to own it, and he auctioned it off, I think at Heritage, one of the big auctions in London. But he would he had the whole track recorded, but he'd only play about 15 seconds of it. But the owner that must have bought it in the auction now has posted the whole song on YouTube. 1963 version of What Goes On with John and Paul singing it, and Ringo is not there singing it.
He said he hadn't been on stream in weeks. He didn't know.
Gotcha.
It's all good, bud.
Few things on the table. Show this real quick in the Mikey Arugula New Year's Eve birthday bash we did for me when I turned 72. Original promo from England, 1982. The Beatles 45, 1962 to 70 singles. I had the whole box once of the singles. I had all 22 of them in it. This is the Something and Come Together. And the later ones were all on Apple label. And this was a bumper sticker that came out at the same time as this to promote Yesterday, because it was the first time it was released in the United Kingdom in 1982. They thought it was too too much of a ballad, like a solo Paul McCartney song for the release under the Beatles, but in the United States they released it as a single on the Beatles and it went to number 1, 1965.
Please give a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Caesar, I guess, is what I think this would be.
Caesar.
Because it's like Garcia, I think that was his. Good evening, Sticker family.
How you doing, Caesar?
And then Greg Fio, Beatles 45 box was a good home, Frank. Has a good home, Frank. Oh, okay, so he's got the 45 box.
He's got the whole box?
Yeah. I guess that's what he means.
So Mikey Rugel was talking about, there was another one, 1964, United Kingdom, 7-inch box. And one of them sold on eBay a few days ago, the other version that's white, but it had termite damage, but it still sold for $300 because it's so rare. I wonder if Mikey has the white one that has a different cover on it. Finally got the Wii 45 that's got the Pete Best song on it from 1982 when the adult magazine did an interview with Pete Best. First time he made some money off the Beatles, I think, was in 1982. And if you subscribe to the adult magazine, you got that single free in the mail. That's the letter on it, and that's the original mailer that the single came in. It's got one side, it says Like Dreamers Do and Love of the Love by the Silver Beatles. And the other side says the same thing. Free promotional, for promotional only. I think Perry Cox has sold this single before.
Yeah, Caesar, we don't like that it changed it. That's why I had to change his title on his thing, his handle, so it would show up. And
we changed it back to Mr. Stickermania.
And then Records and Trains said he was going to take up the offer on the French Tony Sheridan record, but he didn't because he got a chance to buy a 78 RPM audio disc acetate made for a jukebox in 1963.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's saying.
Got these in with a collection yesterday. These little cards, trading cards, 1965 from Sweden. You got John, you got Paul and George on that one. And you got Ringo and George on that one.
Appreciate the like, Greg. Caesar, this is on regular live stream. When we do the one with the name underneath, that's when it's through StreamYards. So you'll know the difference of which one. That's when we have it on 2 streams.
There's John Lennon with one of his famous guitars. I'm sure Gregory Field would know which guitar that is. Another card from Sweden that's got John Lennon and Ringo Starr on it. And one more card that came in that collection. There were some Elvis cards also in that collection. They're smaller than the trading cards in the United States, but they're made in Sweden. All right, we show the Abbey Road. One of you guys out there, I think it was Johnny Ramone, was asking about the Abbey Road misaligned. And that's this one right here. The first pressing, that was a mistake there, error, that's got the misaligned apple on the back. From England, 1969. Got the dark green label. -2, -1, and this one has Her Majesty listed on the label, which makes it rarer than most all the pressings don't have Her Majesty from 69. This one does have it on there.
Johnny Ramone said, yabba dabba do. So I guess he means yep.
This paper sleeve, it's hard to get in decent shape because they're always all tore up because they're just real thin paper. Do you want to know a secret on VJ from 1964 early? It's got the black label with the oval in excellent condition. And it even has the company sleeve of VJ, where it's on both sides of the border of VJ Records. Some of these are, I used to buy these from record stores and used to sell them $50, $75 a piece when they had a bunch of extra company sleeves. All right, let's show that Partridge Family thing. South Louisville Antique Toy Mall. I was out there on a few days ago and got a hold of this Partridge Family lunchbox from 1972. The lunchbox, it isn't in perfect condition, but the thermos is really nice. That's why I bought it. It's got the thermal clip inside it. It's dated 1972, and the thermos this was one of the last times a glass bottle thermos was made, was in 1972 by the Thermos Company, but you can see it's in almost near mint condition. There's the glass bottle that's inside it. And who was the biggest artist that had the biggest tour in the world, in the United States that year? None other than David Cassidy. All right, some list of some sold listings, and we'll do a trivia question contest. A plastic Ono band by John Lennon from 1970 on eBay, sold yesterday for $500. It was factory sealed with a hype sticker. A 1972 Imagine, sold for $435. Perry Cox sold a George Harrison sign check from Harris Songs Limited for $1,900, and a John Lennon signed shaved fish cover that he signed in 1980 went for $1,700 with a COA. Several Paul McCartney books have been signed, that were signed of the 175 books he signed of the story of a band on the run, the Wings new book. So a couple of them have sold on eBay for $4,500 in the last few days. And if you can believe this, an unused ticket to see the Beatles September 3rd at the Indiana State Fair went for $5,000. A lot of money for a $4 ticket originally.
Ivan said, alone today. Nope, it's me. Happy New Year.
How you doing, Ivan, music man from Norway?
And then Uncle Paul said, did the pop album include the calendar? Did that pop album include the calendar?
What pop album?
Live one, I meant.
Live Piece? You're talking about, this was a Plastic Ono Band, his first solo album. This wasn't a live piece in Toronto.
And then Giant Mo said David Cassidy left-hand guitar on Thermos. Funny. I was trying to look at it. I couldn't really tell what he was talking about.
So it's on Thermos, he's left-hand. It almost looks like the picture is inverted. Maybe that's what you mean. They got the picture inverted.
I was going to say, I couldn't really.
Because that looks to me like, I don't know, they got pictures all the way around it. So it's hard to tell, but you're right. It looks like he's playing left-handed. And he got Danny Bonaduccio playing left-handed also. Don't know. But I'm glad you brought that up. That is weird. I sold my German version of the Beatles 1973. Went out in the mail yesterday. The same man bought that and the Sgt. Pepper UK Mono 1981 pressing tube cut -1. They both sold for $199 each. I recorded the Beatles on my recordable CD, but I'll have to try to find me another one. Those are hard to find, the Beatles. The -2 best stereo pressing ever of Please Please Me.
T-Shirt Express says good evening, everybody.
How you doing, Polly? What are you making what's your plans on this year? You got some new things?
I got Mikey
things
shirt
in the
on. You
works?
made this one, right? The Mikey shirt, I believe you
Yeah,
made
I think
this
you did.
one.
All right, let's do the trivia question.
Ivan said, I just saw the Led Zeppelin documentary on TV. Nice poster behind you.
Led Zeppelin. If you haven't seen the Becoming Led Zeppelin, you need to see Becoming Led Zeppelin. It's on Netflix, I think.
I'm not sure.
So here's the trivia questions. The win is Dave Clark 5. This came from the Connie Denavi. I got it over here. When I won the Connie Denavi estate collection of a lot of original negatives and memorabilia she had in her file cabinet in New York City. I got a hold of a stack of these. I've sold several of them already. But I'm giving one of these away, a press book for the Dave Clark 5 from, looks like it's from 1965.
T-Shirt Express says this year we're going to do some nice giveaways. We
All right.
appreciate you, Polly, very much.
And this is a press, I had a stack of these, How the Dave Clark 5 Began. It's like an 8-page press kit on that. And then original, this is an original photo taken in 1964. This is not made from the original negative. This is the original photo. It was in my Connie Denavi big scrapbook that I got. And it shows her with Dave Clark in the middle. And behind her you see Denny and I think Mike Smith. He's behind Dave Clark.
Paul should not be allowed to die, guys. Says Happy New Year from Vancouver.
Who's that?
The Paul from up top. What was his name again? I should know his name. The Paul should not be allowed to die guy. He told us his name and I just brain for it. Sorry, bud, brain for it.
All right, here's the 3 questions about the Dave Clark 5 to win these things from the Connie Denavi collection. Number 1. What Dave Clark 5
Perry,
song?
That's right. Yeah, like Perry Cox. That's his name, Perry.
Perry,
yeah.
Start over again.
It's all right.
Number 1. What Dave Clark 5 song was the first song to go top 20 in the United Kingdom? Number 2. What USA movie in 1964 did the Dave Clark 5 make a special guest performance in? There's one movie that was made for the teens that the Dave Clark 5 made a special performance in the movie. And number 3, what was the name of the drummer that plays on most of the Dave Clark 5 big hits? What was his name? All right, say
Uncle Paul said Connie was a cute, or quite cute, laugh out loud.
Yeah, she knew all the celebrities, but she turned down Brian Epstein. So she had a lot of guts for a lady.
What about Gabby? Is she right?
Gabby's already said no. Gabby, those are questions you would just automatically think, but these are a little trickier than that. Number 1, what Dave Clark 5 song was the first song to go top 20 in the United Kingdom? It's not what you think. What?
Daniel Castillo and then Gabby again.
Nope. Nope.
Patricia.
Nope.
Uncle Paul. Uncle Paul. Oh,
No,
no,
you
he's
got
talking about
close.
something.
No.
So what's the
So the
bride's-
movie's not a Dave Clark 5 movie. They make a special appearance in one of those teen movies.
Oh, Greg Fio.
Greg Fio. No. You guys are getting the drummer right. It's like the beach teen movies they made in 1964. One of them featured the Dave Clark 5 doing one song in it, in the background. And what song, Dave Clark 5 song, was the first song to go top 20 in the United Kingdom, and it's not Glad All Over. Anybody else want to do this? Anybody want to answer? It was later on. It was a big hit in the United States too.
Oh, that's a Daniel.
No. Dave Clark did not do the drumming on the big hits from the Dave Clark 5. He hired a session drummer to do the big hits.
Yeah, that's why Paul's not right. Or Perry's not right, because he's got Clark at the end.
All right, let's see if anybody's got two of them right.
What about Greg?
No. Somebody had the movie. Yeah, a couple of you had. One of you had the movie right.
Man, we're stuck. They stuck. No, give us. We got. Come on, y'all. You got one more shot. Let's
They're
go.
giving you enough hints.
Let's go. We want to give it away.
So this was what Dave Clark 5 song was the first song to go top 20 in the United Kingdom in 1963? Before Glad All Over.
No, Greg, but Greg didn't get it.
Quiet Beatles Collector.
That's Thomas Crook. He's close.
Yeah. Between all of you answering, you guys got the three right answers. Let's see if somebody can put them all
Let's have
together.
to put them all together. Come on, y'all. Work it out. Nope, not that, Daniel. That's not it. Come on.
We got to see all of them in one answer.
Who's going to get the first one? It's a free shot because the answers are out there.
The answers are there from all of the ones we got.
It's just you got to put them together. Who's going to do it?
Thomas Crook gave you a big hint there. Anybody else? And Gabby, nope, but you're getting close.
Man, this was a good one.
Gabby's the closest so far.
Come on, y'all. Put that together. Nope. Man.
Thomas Crook gave you the hint to get this done.
Gabby kind of like 2 out of 3, so, right?
Yeah.
So like, come on, y'all, like figure it out. Look at Thomas, look at Gabby, figure out how you gotta put them together. Who's got first?
All right, we got one more minute to get this solved. What song by the Dave Clark 5 went into the top 20 first in the United Kingdom?
So close. So close. Come on, y'all.
You're getting 2 out of 3. Do you guys know where Thomas Crook is there?
It's a quiet Beatles collector. I guess you don't know that, and I guess we're throwing you off at that one
Yeah.
because it does say quiet Beatles collector.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our fault since his name's changed. That's where your answer's at.
All right, now we go.
All right. So we just done that. They got 30 seconds.
30 seconds, and then we're gonna have to give it to them.
All right.
All right, we got it. Who got it?
It's Gabby.
Gabby wins.
There
There you go, Gabby. Over and Over was a song that first got on the charts in England. Over and Over. I don't know if it was a cover or what, but that was the first song. The USA movie where the Dave Clark Five made a guest performance in was Get Yourself a College Girl. And the drummer, they interviewed him on YouTube that played on most of all the Dave Clark Five. He was a hired drummer, was Bobby Graham. Way to go, Gabby.
Great job, great job. Appreciate everybody participating. That was a good one.
That took a while.
Yeah, but that's good. Sometimes they're a little too easy. Some of them you get, and they got them done in a second. You need a little bit of a challenge.
Way to go, Gabby. We met Gabby in New Jersey and Chicago, right?
I believe so, yeah. She was in both,
Yeah. But I think the first time I really talked to her was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, I think she talked to Mike Arugula.
She said, I did it. I randomly had I Like It Like That stuck in my head this morning. I wanted to win this one because of that. Very nice, Gabby.
I Like It Like That. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dave Clark Five. Let's pull out the Greatest Hits album. I had it here. Here it is. Dave Evans bought my last one. This is the pressing you want on the True Stereo from the late 70s that they put out. True Stereo, the best of the Dave Clark Five. You got Do You Love Me? You Got What It Takes, Red Balloon, Come Home, Catch Us If You Can, Bits and Pieces Everybody Knows. And can you believe this? Over and Over is not on here. And then on beats.
That's what I was going to say. Giant Mom said Over and Over 1966. No question mark.
Well, there was a version that made top 20 that I looked up in England in 63. Glad All Over, 19 Days, Because, Blueberry Hill, Try Too Hard, Can't You See That She's Mine, and Live in the Sky. That's the pressing you want. Dave Evans bought my last one.
He's got a Horsey question.
Horsey question. I have a Horsey Magical Mystery Tour with a rectangular pink Horsey at the top left. A1B3. Is that a good pressing? That is a good pressing. Anytime you got A1B3, you got the True Stereo pressing from Germany, a Magical Mystery Tour.
And then did you see the Gabby? Yes, I have this one, and I love the Dave Clark 5 Butcher cover. I wanted to show it on the Mikey Arugula show. Glad All Over album first cover.
All right. Yeah, I've had that before with no instruments of the Dave Clark 5, the first album. With Mikey Arugula on our last episode, we had a trivia question on which Beatles album featured the Apple logo first, and it was this one here, and I'll show you where it's at. Right up here, it says Apple Records, Apple presents the Beatles. That's the first time an Apple logo was used on a Beatles album.
So that's the answer Caesar's question.
What's that?
Yeah, the good pressing and everything. So you got him, and he said, nice, I thought so. But sometimes they don't show these with the pink rectangle, so he wasn't
Yeah, usually you got the turntable up on the logo. Got this in with a collection, a Beatles Zippo lighter of Magical Mystery Tour. It was originally $33 and what's the price on it? $3.95?
$33.95.
$33.95 Zippo lighter Magical Mystery Tour when it came out, whatever year that was. And it came in with that collection, a Sgt. Pepper notebook. Sgt. Pepper. I had a Sgt. Pepper here. The mono, I've sold almost all the high-end stuff of the Sgt. Pepper. I got this one left. This is a looks like it's a Holland pressing Sgt. Pepper.
This is 1996.
Matrices are 2, -2, -2. So this wouldn't be the tube cup.
Jimmy Joe.
What?
So it's 1996 Apple Quartz. It's got all the song titles on the back. Someone put a sticker on it, but it's got all the song titles on. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. It can't be all the song titles.
No, but they probably picked out the ones that were the most popular, stuck them on the back of the lighter what they could fit. But I thought that's cool what they did. They tried.
All right, what else do we have to show tonight? I got the Rubber Soul -5, -5 Hazel Yardwood mono pressing. And I played it the other day. It's in, just has a few small marks on it. Very good plus condition. This is the pressing you want, -5, -5 Hazel Yardwood.
Paul should not be allowed said, I used to have a promo photo of Dave Clark 5 on a Canadian Capital, and it was half the size. Also had the Yardbirds promo photo signed by Jimmy Page and the rest of the band, except for Keith Reff. How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah, the lead singer, Keith Reff.
Reff, all right.
Yeah, I had a whole band, the whole Yardbirds signed on a scrapbook that I sold for, I think, $800 a couple last year. I had Jimmy Page and Chris Dystrasia and the drummer. I'm not coming up with all the names right now. The drummer we met in Jim McCarty. We met him at Beatle Fest. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Beck didn't show up for the autographs. There was only 4 of them: Chris Deja, Keith Riff, Jim McCarty, and Jimmy Page. So that's the original Rubber Soul cover from England. You got the flap on the bottom and the top, and you got the original Ematex polyline inner sleeve that Parlophone Records came in. This is a 2018 sealed of the White Album that has the 6 CDs and the Blu-ray, the Giles Martin remix. They were all numbered. This is number 2042. Factory sealed from corner to corner. I've shown the anthology. We showed this on Mikey. This will sell before long on eBay because I got so many watches on it. The original card of a brooch pin. It's a sharp pin, or it's got the little enamel beetles there. And it's got the songs. P.S. I love you, she loves you, can't buy me love, all my lovin'. Thank you, girl, twist and shout, I want to hold her hand. Then I saw her standing there. So the young generation doesn't like the early songs as much as us older boomers do. I love She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Gabby, do you like some of the early Beatles songs? And you got the original 59-cent tag from Woolworths on the back.
Paul should not be allowed to die, guy. The Yardbirds were at a house of the promoter where the sun was the coast. Men, the opening act band, and Jimmy enjoyed a hockey night in Canada. That's cool. And she said, of course, Gabby did.
All right.
And then Caesar said, Frank, what would be the best sounding pressings of the White Album? Top 3.
The top 3 would be this is a mono. You want mono or stereo? This is a 1981. It came out of the Beatles mono box set. all tube cut. Got mono on the label. And then that would be in the top three. And then the number one is the 1980 stereo pressing from Holland.
He said stereo.
I don't
What's on the bottom? Is that nothing on the bottom? That not one.
No.
On the rack.
Oh, that's the regular UK version. I got a local man that's interested in my stereo top loader for $500. It's number 320966. Top loader with a poster, the photos, and the records don't have EMI recording on there. Got the original black die cut inner sleeves. But the best stereo pressing is the 1980 Holland pressing. Some reason on the 77 through 80s, when they made most of the Beatles' best pressings, audiophile pressings in the world, because the master tapes weren't that old and they had better equipment and better vinyl in the late 70s to press them on. There was an oil embargo, in 74 or something, where the vinyl got to be real cheap. But then by the time you got to 77 through 80, they started using real good vinyl again. And they had better equipment in Germany and Australia and Holland to press these records, to master them. Does that answer your question pretty much on the White Album?
Okay, you can read Johnny Ramone's little sidebar about the Partridge family.
All right.
At the very bottom.
Partridge family used to go bowling. We used to go bowling with David Cassidy at Studio City Bowling Alley. He wore a Groucho disguise and velvet rainbow bell bottoms. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, David Cassidy was so huge there in the early 70s, I'm sure he did have to wear a disguise. This is not the album that, I don't know if I showed this on the Mikey Arugula, but the album that's been in the charts more than any other album in England in the last 10 years is the Amy Winehouse Back to Black. This is her first album, Frank, not named after me, but the Back to Black is glued to the charts for 10 years in a row in England. I really like Back to Black.
Caesar said, yeah, thanks. I do remember you mentioning that Holland one. Wasn't there German with white records too that people would say is great?
Steve Hoffman says the 1978 white vinyl pressing from England is a audiophile pressing. But that goes back to my theory that the best pressings ever were from 77 to 1980.
Ivan Music Man said, I love Amy Winehouse.
All right. Way to go, Ivan.
And then Johnny Ramone said he drove all the girls crazy, biggest crowd ever in history at the Canyon clubs out here.
David Cassidy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one incident, I think in England or something, where the girls went so crazy, a girl fell off the balcony and died, I think.
Oh, that's crazy, yeah. Not good.
Yellow Submarine before Auto-Tune. Got this from Ticket to Ride out there in Washington State. The yellow version of the Yellow Submarine soundtrack, 1999. That would be another hot pressing before Auto-Tune was invented. This was mastered by a son of one of the members of the British Invasion Band. Who was it? His father was in one of the British invasion bands. What band was it? You got the material when the Yellow Submarine soundtrack came out. This was the big poster for it. Anybody answer any bands there?
Nope, not yet, but maybe they're on a little delay.
His father's name is Tony Hicks. What band was Tony Hicks in?
If you like Amy or they say the Hollies is what.
Yeah, Hollies is the correct answer. The Hollies, Tony Hicks was in the Hollies, and his son, can't remember his first name. Let me see, it won't be on that album. He helped master the Yellow Submarine soundtrack.
And then Caesar said, if you like Amy Winehouse, you might like the young singer named Ray. She's great English and sounds like a bit like Amy. I guess that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, R-A-Y-E. She has the number one Spotify song globally. What is the title of it? The number one song globally on Spotify is sung by Ray. What is the title? There's my introducing the Beatles I've shown before, and the factory shrink with the factory breathe holes from the probably May or June of 1964 when they started sealing the introducing the Beatles version 2. And the record looks unplayed with the oval label.
Paul should not be allowed to die. Said 1970. I thought I was the first, or was going to get a Partridge Family album from his sister, but it ended up being a Canadian Let It Be box set. It says Graham Hicks, but then Johnny Mom said Paul Hicks.
Paul Hicks, that's correct. And then Ray's big song, number one global, is Where Is My Husband? Let's show the lunchbox again. They seem to like it.
Yeah, because Brad Parnell said the Partridge Family is my favorite TV show. I have all their albums on MP3.
Give me that thing to put it on.
And then Brad
Parnell, we're going to take your winnings of your two Beatles cups, to the store tomorrow so you can pick it up there from my sticker granddaughter tomorrow evening.
And Gabby said, where's my husband?
Where is my husband? So, Ray was up for the Grammys last year in early 2025 with about 10 other artists for the Best New Artist. Another trivia question, who won the Best New Artist in 2025 at the Grammys?
Those are, you want the big one or what we doing here?
Chaperone. She beat them all. She was up against hot competition too.
Yeah, Brad, he said he talked to her today, yeah. Yeah, so everything's taken care of, Brad.
We got this from Uncle Paul. He played today on his 63rd birthday. The 3-inch version of Pink Pony Club on his Beatles Crosley turntable. So one of my other granddaughter came down with my middle son 2 days ago, and she said that she heard Pink Pony Club at a school dance. And I asked her, did people sing along with the lyrics? She says they sure did.
Kenzie was cleaning the house to singing it the other day. I seen I videotaped her doing that.
The Partridge Family Lunchbox. 1972, made by Thermos Division's King Silly Thermos Company, the same company that made the Beatles Blue Lunchbox in 65. You got, I won't know all their names. I know this is David Cassidy and Danny how do you say his last name? Bonaducci? Ducci?
Yeah.
And then you got Shirley Jones and what was the girl's name? Not coming up with that right now.
Brad, you know the girl's name?
Susan something. Susan. But this thermos is why I bought it. I've never seen a thermos in that. Only one time did I have a Beatles thermos that was in that good a shape. And they're saying that David Cassidy is playing left-handed.
Susan Day.
Susan Day, thanks. And that little kid surely could not play the drums. So the only two singers on the actual records was David Cassidy and Shirley Jones. Shirley Jones was David Cassidy's stepmother. And I'm sure young crazy Danny couldn't play the bass guitar. All right, a few other things and we'll be done tonight. If you got any final questions for me. I got a Nowhere Man 45 in with that estate sale the other day. That's got the rare What Goes On with all three credits on the back. Lennon, McCartney, and Starkey. But that didn't last very long. Lennon and McCartney wanted to get all those royalty rights, so the Starkey was quickly removed from the label.
This box and thermos has the first Chris on it, so they changed to Chris, I guess, after a while.
One of the young kids?
That's what he said.
Yeah. You seen my Can't Buy Me Love. You talked about the Magical Mystery Tour. This is the 77 Magical Mystery Tour with the Apple logo on it instead of the Horzoo, but it's in my opinion, it's a better audiophile pressing because it's made on better vinyl, better equipment in 77 than the 73 version was. A1B3.
Brad said David Cassidy had to tell Danny not to strum the bass.
Ow. David Cassidy. He had a, what would you call it? He always wanted to be a star when he was young, and he sure became one. Jumpin' Jack Flash. There was some reason I wanted to talk about that the other day. Picture sleeve for Jumpin' Jack Flash. You got the Rolling Stones face forward on the front with Brian Jones towards the end of the time he was with the band, and then the back of them. These are David Bailey photos. Beatles for sale. We got to talk about Beatles for sale. I told you that George Borden on his live stream the other night, I thought it was on New Year's Eve, him and Mazzy went into a half hour of their favorite Beatles albums, and Beatles for Sale was one of them. Beatles for Sale. The Beatles had toured the whole world, pretty much most of the world. They got back and they recorded this album real quick, but it was all done on muscle memory. And you can sure George's guitar playing and Paul and John's vocals are just red hot on this tube cut -1 stereo pressing. This is a 1969, the last of the, this is the first, this is a 1 EMI box, where in the 70s they had EMI on the top and the bottom. So this is a 69 pressing from England when the gold and black Parlophone was discontinued. And that's the original inner sleeve from EMI. Got Sgt. Pepper right there. And you got Scaffold. Paul McCartney's younger brother, Mike McGear, was in it.
Paul should not be allowed to die, guy. He played the saxophone on You know my name, look up the number.
That was Brian Jones.
And then Gabby said, I'll send you an email with my information right now for the trivia. Thanks for doing the giveaways for us every week. We appreciate y'all tuning in.
All right, thanks, Gabby. Brian Jones in 1967 played saxophone on the first track, first time attempt of the You Know My Name. Look up the number, but it wasn't released until 1970 on the B-side of Let It Be.
Brad Parnell said Suzanne Croft played Tracy Partridge. She passed away 10 years ago.
Let It Be. Let's pull out the Let It Be. Let It Be on the A-side picture sleeve, and You Know My Name, look up the number on the B-side.
This dude's just being stupid. We're just gonna go ahead and time you out, bud. Put you on a timeout. Bye-bye.
Let's be nice, everybody.
Enjoy the moment. I mean, you're complaining about it being reversed and everything else. Why are we gonna say if we're selling it or not? Like, you asked that question twice. I skipped it the first time because you complained about it being reversed. So why are you gonna ask if you want to buy it? Like, I'm just asking. He's getting mad because I skipped it twice. Because yeah, so you selling it, and of course you're selling it. Yeah, but I mean,
the price on the Partridge Family. We'll put this out now. Shipped. The thermos and the lunchbox. The first person that sends me $130 gets this lunchbox and thermos. $130 shipped. Send it to my PayPal account. Thank you very much. Oh, we talked about Let It Be, introducing the Beatles, butcher cover. You know, I sold my stereo butcher cover the other day for $2,000. This is my mono. It didn't come out as good, but this was $1,100 on the mono with the removed trunk slick. David Bowie, my album of the year, my album pickup of 2025 is right here. Gabby can understand that. My UK first pressing of Ziggy Stardust. And this is the first pressing that doesn't have man-made on the back. And it is a 1E matrices.
So Uncle Paul's saying it's worth more than that.
Yeah, that's what I'll sell it for. It'd have to be, the thermos is real nice, but if the lunchbox was perfect, it'd be $200.
That's what he said. $200 items, what he said.
So it's a 1E pressing, and Peebethol is going to have a live stream next week where they're going to do a contest of the greatest last track on an album, and they say this album here might win it, with the last track being Rock and Roll Suicide.
And Gabby says, yes, I love my copy of that album.
All right, any other questions? A couple more minutes and we're done today on January 3rd.
About hit me in the face.
Part of, did I show the revolver? I won in an auction from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio yesterday. You know that Rockaway Records sold the original promo poster for Rubber Soul. They sold for $595 and they had some corner damage. I have a near mint one coming in that I got for in the auction for about the same price.
Paul should not be allowed to die. Yeah, that's what they talked about, the two drummers, and then he said Rob Reiner played a biker named Snake on one episode trying to go out with Lloyd.
On what episode? Partridge Family?
Yeah.
So this is a first press stereo, a revolver from England, 1966. The stereo didn't have the outtake for Tomorrow Never Knows. It's got a -1 in the dead wax.
Brad Parnell, so I'm gonna have to go check out your booth at the Antique Mall soon. I know I'm now old enough to get the discount at the Shepherdsville Mr. Gaddy's.
All right. You're where are you at, Brad? Somebody, Uncle Paul turned 63 today. And where are you at there, Brad? Are you close to, where are you, 59 or something, 58? So everybody wish Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse a happy birthday. 63. And I'm 72, so if I was 10 years old when the Beatles played on the Ed Sullivan, Uncle Paul was 1 year old. I don't think he knew what was going on. All right, Sticky Fingers. That's another one they said in the last track in the contest.
He's 60 is what he is.
60. Brad Parnell is 60. So talking about the last tracks of being the best last track on any classic album, this would be in the running too with Moonlight Mile. What a good Rolling Stones album. This is the German version, TML Doug Sax cut. Got TML and the Deadwax. Doug Sax, in his lifetime, he knew how to cut albums and his equipment. Now Chad Kassem owns his equipment and it is in Salina, Kansas. All right, thanks a lot from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for the chat. It's been fun tonight.